A Doorstep Sport coach needs lots of different skills really, because ultimately in a street games session they aren't only a sports coach, but they're also at times a youth worker or a mentor or an advisor to the young people. So I think first and foremost they need to be good coaches, and we want our young people to have the opportunity to receive top quality coaching skills. But I also think it's really important to invest in our workforce in the other more holistic elements as well, so that they can give the right advice, so they can set the right standards as a role model, and so they can provide guidance in terms of exit routes for players and volunteers as well.
When we talk about fitting Doorstep Sport to young people rather than young people into sport, what we mean is taking into consideration the motivations of young people to play before we plan our session. So young people might come to one of my sessions because they want to get to know some more people, they want to make more friends. So when I structure my session, the key outcome from my session isn't whether they hit a better forehand, but whether the practices that I offered gave them opportunities to mix with different people and to cooperate as well as to compete with others. They might end up getting a better forehand by the end of the session, but that social outcome is the first thing for me, whereas in a slightly more performance environment, the improvement of a technical skill might come before the development of the whole child.
I think as well, when we're looking at fitting the sport for the young people in the communities that we're working with, it's first of all taking that sport to the young people and making it fit in the environment that they're surrounded by. So within a lot of the communities that we're working with, a lot of young people might not have access to a golf course or a tennis club with great courts. So it's working with, the key part of it is working with governing bodies to look at those adapted offers, take them to the communities and let them fit with the young people, and just let those young people experience those sports which they might not be able to in their communities because the facilities aren't there.
If we can give the young person the skills to go to a swimming pool and know what they need to take with them, whether it's money for a locker or their own towel, or if we can give them the skills to go and ring a leisure centre to book a badminton court, or give them the know-how about buying some running shoes so they can go out and run in their own time and know where's safe to run and good fun and stuff like that. It's about giving them that sporting capital, as we call it, so they can go and pursue their own sporting activities as well.
Community sport can play catch up in athlete development by taking a multi-skill approach, even when working with teenagers. In a perfect world, young people from birth onwards would have been exposed to a wide range of skills, crawling, travelling, climbing, and maybe trying lots of sports and then narrowing down as time goes on. But in order to make the most of those opportunities, young people need a supportive network around them, be that family or friends. They need transport and often they need finance, and that's not available to all young people. So what we've looked at with Street Games is playing athletic catch-up by, in all of our community-based sessions, making sure that when we play tag games or invasion games, that the coaches give top tips or coaching points around the basic skills of movement. So we always introduce things around balance or coordination when we're teaching tag games for a warm-up. When we're playing invasion games, be it football or dodgeball, we might focus on the way that young people travel. By doing that, we'll effectively, hopefully, bridge some of the gaps that those young people have got, help them to move more efficiently and effectively and access more sport. One of the really important things that we talk about at Street Games is getting the style right, and we say to young people, what does getting the style right for you? How do we make sports sessions that appeal to young people? And they say to us that it's all about being real, and when we try and unpack that a bit more, they're just saying it's about being authentic, it's about coaches or leaders always delivering the things that they can deliver, not promising things they can't deliver. When somebody says, how you doing, waiting to hear the response rather than just high-fiving and moving off to speak to the next person.
In terms of the space that's needed, it's about utilising what's around the community already. So all the communities have got local open spaces, whether they use a car park and work with local providers to do that, whether they use open fields and adapt the sport to fit on those open spaces. We see lots of multi-use games areas that are sat there not really being utilised as much as they possibly can by young people and local communities.
An activity like street golf, 3 or 4 car parking bays could be enough to create 2 or 3 golf holes. The don't park here rails could be used as a little chip in practice. The bin, if it's just been empty, could again allow young people to have a really great hole-in-one game. And it's about teaching the coaches and young leaders to understand the principles of a game like golf. So, can I judge distance and pace? What height does a ball need to travel at? And what are the different ways that I can get the ball to do that? And then setting challenges. So actually chipping into a bin isn't any different than Tiger Woods floating the ball onto a green. And as soon as you teach coaches to understand the principles that the games are grounded in, you then facilitate their ability to take sport to young people in a whole range of scenarios without, a great deal of equipment. When you start talking about utilising small and cramped, community venues, it is about working with the young people you're coaching to again understand the principles of the game. So within cricket, the people with the bat are trying to score points or runs, and the people in the field are trying to stop it. So in a community hall, we might have 4 sets of stumps or 5 sets of stumps going at once, and then 5 batsmen, so that lots of people are trying to score runs. But because there's not much space, we might negotiate with the young people, well, if we hit every shot really hard, are we going to have a really good time? And they're going to say, no, it's not going to be that safe. Well, you tell me what the most skillful shot is, and then we'll give the most points to that shot. And that might just be a little dab around the corner. And so you're working with the players all the time to draw upon their local knowledge and their experience of what's going to be fun, what's going to be fair, because that's a really important thing to young people, and essentially to understand what it is they want to do most of, which is usually score world-class goals or world-class points or world-class saves. So every activity, you're looking for moments to do that. And a key thing when you're in a cramped environment like a community hall is that it's built into the game that young people have to celebrate their goals and celebrate their points, because that's a moment where they bond and they don't even realise they're doing it, and they're high-fiving, and people have achieved who their peers might not expect to have achieved, and then they're getting praise from other people. So that's the kind of innovative, creative work that happens in a cramped community hall. And sometimes being able to use that low ceiling to gather noise and build an atmosphere is the key bit of coaching. It's not where the cones are. Creating a noise and a buzz about a session is a really important part of getting people to come back each week.
Multi-skills development is absolutely crucial to the future of street games and the future of sport in this country, and we want young people who have the ability to choose between which sports they want to do. So for some of them it might be running, for some of them it might be striking and fielding, for some of them it might be an invasion game, for some it might be creative movement or dance, and we want to offer a varied menu of those activities and sports, so that when they get to the age where they're able to choose 1 or 2 of them, then they have that opportunity, but they are given the fundamental skills and principles of what they need to do each of those sports. A multi-skills session could look 2 different ways really. There could be a lot of kind of tag games or relay games or things like that which encompass a lot of different skills, or you might cover 2 or 3 sports in one session. So you might start with a bit of head tennis, you might do a little bit of rounders, you might finish off with a tag game or an invasion game, and that invasion game wouldn't have to be a traditional kind of, has to be either rugby or basketball. It could be a cross between netball and football, where you've got to pass the ball in your hands and then head it to score a goal, for example, which might introduce certain players who've never played netball before to some of those concepts, and vice versa.
An organically grown coach is someone that's local, but not necessarily somebody that's pursuing or even thought about pursuing a coaching pathway. They might be, as I said, a local Pied Piper in that community that knows the local community really well, has got that local intelligence, and they've got the skills and the tools to be able to engage with that local community and those young people, and then we can help them to grow and develop from there into better coaches.
Yeah, a lot of the learners that would arrive at courses had previously had negative experiences of assessment as a concept. So one of the really important things that we do at the start of the course is just make it very plain that assessment is part of the course, but there'll be loads of opportunities for it. So they're with us for 2 weeks, they think about, talk about, learn about coaching. There's a chance to be assessed if they feel they want to at the end of that week, but also they can be assessed whenever they feel ready out in their community as well, and that instantly put a lot of our learners at ease.
I think as well, when we were when it came to assessment of the learners and being inclusive, is we did everything we possibly could not to isolate individual learners and make sure that we changed the methods of assessing. So things like capturing it, group work on flip chart paper, video clips, working as groups and feedback, peer assessments, etc. That was really, really important in terms of making sure that all of the learners could work collectively and achieve collectively.
And also helping learners to recognise that contributions that are made verbally are equally as important as contributions which are made in a written form. And over the 2 weeks you saw young people growing confidence, recognising the skills they did have rather than the skills that they hadn't developed as much as they might at this point, which is fantastic.
And I think it's about recognising that these young people do have skills and do have abilities and are competent coaches. It's just giving them the platform, the environment in which they can express that. It's not trying to give them an easy path and trying to, we are trying to produce a quality, competent workforce, but it's just putting them through the methods that we know will suit their needs and their learning styles and their culture, and making it relevant to them so that we can bring the best out in them.
The big difference is for me with the young lads who I've seen attend the level 2 Doorstep Sport course was their confidence and what they gained from the course, working with alongside other people, more experienced coaches as well, that they've gone back into the community and then from what they've learned on the course delivered in the community. From attending the level 2 Doorstep Sport course, the 2 lads that I'm thinking of have gone back into their community of Dufferin in Newport and delivered between 5 and 10 hours each week of Doorstep Sport in their community of Dufferin. One lad in particular stands out for me who recently attended a level 1 sports course and after the first day never returned, and by attending the level 2 course in Newport in May, the support I think that the young lad got, and the support not only from the tutors and the other people there, but also the people on the course. The sort of atmosphere that was created helped him, do you know what I mean, feel comfortable and then stay the full 6 days on the course. And at the end of it, when he delivered his final session, was a big smile to see him, do you know what I mean, accomplish that. Because if you would have asked me when he went on there, would he have done that at the end of it? It would have been a big question mark. But to see the one lad come through the 6 days was smashing. Big highlight.